My name is Xiao, and I'm a native Chinese. And this is a very hard-earned poetic voice from China. Right? I'm a son of a Chinese very poor peasant, and I grew up to be a teacher at Xiamen University, teach at the Department of English, Xiamen University. And this afternoon, I'm going to read my latest poem. And I would like I have all those things written here on the screen about my personal information, my WeChat account, WeChat platform, and my email. Right? I'm badly in need of your encouragement and comment on my writing. Right? Being a poet is a lonely business in China, so I would like you to, with this information, I'll be very glad if you contact me. And so let me begin. And last year, maybe more than 1 year, less than 2 years ago, I have a lecture here on my poetry here, and I think I mentioned this poem here to a girl from the USA by the name of JJ, but I didn't know that there will be a videotape, and so I didn't read this poem at that time. This is my first poem, and it was published by the Cambridge University's journal. So today, before I read my latest poem, I would like to read this poem first. This is a poem of cultural contrast. I think it's between American and Chinese culture, and I use the Buddhist concept of reincarnation. And actually, I met the woman teacher from the United States here almost 22 years ago, when I was we both were asked to be a judge of an English contest, and later on we have certain kinds of communication, and she talked about the American influence on him, and he was quite disappointed about American life. And her boyfriend told her he will go to hell if you don't believe in God. So he was very frustrated and coming here in China. But he found out that here in China, a lot of people turn out admiring the United States culture, right? So we talk about a lot of things, and I was very disappointed about Chinese current situation with our cultural destruction. So I use the Buddhist concept of reincarnation to write this poem. Now I would like now to read this poem, and I'd like you to enjoy it. To a girl from the USA by the name of JJ, published on English Today, a Cambridge University's journal, April 2002. You walk around the campus so naturally, like a breeze from the west. Lonely you may be, with no one to understand your voice. You smile at the trees, the grass, and the flowers, but they all remain silent, without motion. The east is always silent and shy. From childhood, you harbor a dream. Was it a fairy story you have been told, or a haunting memory of a previous life? You came to China alone for something lost, but the men who once knew you have long gone, and your familiar building were torn down. Tales of cowboys pretends to be men, pop singers' madness, noisy campaign for president, and freedom to keep guns. You may need a rest. Fed up with the busy streets, modern machines, luxurious life, and cold, sophisticated mind, where the poet rolled downhill like a lamb, where a philosopher king governed humanely, nature and mankind hand in hand, harmony, where the life of all creatures had the same. The East is such a luring dream. I, an even greater dreamer, over many lives, said the same prayer, hoping for that land of wonder. Come, here I am, a speechless man, long, long tale to tell. Like the blind singer, walking among the ruins, I stand in empty mountain, overwhelmed by thunder and deadly silence. meaningless to tell, unable to sing, until you came inside, bouncing and smiling, as if a spring overflowed into the dry valley. You seem to me a girl finding your own way, relic of the glorious East, or herbs, or flowers, or even just a dust here, to cure your man's fever. But as I know too well, there's no more magic here. There's no more wisdom than your carefree eyes, no more happy excursions than your buoyant steps, no more music in nature than the flow of your voice, no more tranquility than your peaceful smile. And as you walk along, you threw little rocks into silent and deadly lakes, and met many eyes that admire what they have never enjoyed. As a hermit, living in the land of sickness, I dream once more of where I used to be. Here you come. Is there any good news you bring? Maybe not. Maybe your carefree bearing is the message. You walk through the campus, dancing and singing, and you throw what you have gathered into the wind. So this is my reading. I would not like to spend a lot of time talking about it because this one everybody was very familiar with, right? So my major focus is on my latest writing. Most of the poem here is written. I loaded in this spring, and I would like to read it first, each one, and make certain explanation. Maybe that some poem may deserve a second reading. I'll read it a second time, right? And I will not talk about anything before I read it. Just to make you feel and let you feel the flow of the language. And this one is very simple stuff. A faith growing in true love is a secret fire that smiles in darkness, a loss, a gift for the season, a hurl to the wild store of chances, an envy of all eyes. Above all, it is a blessing to a world where things seem out of joint, and passion means possession. And this is very simple stuff, right? And I think the inspiration came from in my class. There are two of the students fell very strongly in love, and the girl's face, glowing with smile, with love, with all kinds of the tenderness. So I got very inspired, and I know this short one. I think this one is very simple. I not read it a second time. And let's go to another one. This year, I think I was inspired by some kinds of the things that something like spiritual things, right? And I write in a slightly different way. Let me do this one. Caught in your arresting look. Caught in your arresting look. How much I wanted to be under your spell, and be paralyzed at noon under a tree in your dry season's heat. I turn and twist my body, struggling to tell you ever led to a tunnel, or gazing on your prairies like a lamb. My eyes were impregnant in me. Your eyes were impregnant in me. A whole spring of fruit that would lower branches in summer's opulence and autumn's pride. I would gust like a fountain at midnight, with my voice and moisture that would thrill and nourish the slumbering mountain with ecstasies. I believe you are mine. Once your stare was so long, your whole being was so tender, and you emanate sweetness like a cherry base. The moon had risen about the sea, and the moonlit water swelled and fell in helplessness, paying homage to the sky in an ever higher time. In this poem, I mainly talk about maybe a certain kind of casual encounter with somebody, and you speculate about maybe when you take a very long look at somebody, maybe there has something happen, in those kinds of the chance meeting. So I was inspired by those kinds of experience. We go to the next one. I would, let me do a new one. This one is about let me do it first, then I make some certain explanation. If the air is trembling in accord with your heart, a quake from the center, vibrating fast and far, then you are in tune with flower in blossom, with birds chirping at dawn, with leaves everywhere, inhaling and exhaling, like chance prisoners. The whole nature is in love, and so you should be. Your mind is dithering as a dancer who let go all herself and become a feather in the wind. Your heart is all engulfing net, which contains all galaxy, with all the minute and cosmic manifestations. You have no self. You are an age-old yearning to melt in the unspeakable, which is a city with a gate that can be stormed into only by a battering ram of love. It's a poem inspired by the kinds of certain kinds of the feeling of love, and at certain moment you feel that you are completely in the kinds of the trance experience, and you speculate about what kinds of these kinds of the feeling. So I wrote something like this, and let me move to a new one. It is said, when your ear turn red, there must be someone who was whisper words of love into them. If your eyes were loving with smiling light, that means your heart is beckoning flower. In a mystic cave, an incense is burning with its curling smoke, singing into emptiness, branding with a prayer that seems to be an all-encompassing wish. At the deep core of each body is an ocean of rising steam. Each has a mystic lover to join their centers, exploding into a rainbow and falling into the quietness of the pre-dawn clear sky. In my deep dream, I have the sweetest her, she and I. And I'll give you some time to feel the poem yourself. You can read it yourself. So probably I have to demonstrate my poem today, right? Because there are a lot here. I'll just demonstrate it. Next one is in this silent valley. In this silent valley, the air is in an overcast sky. The palms towering all around me, amid wild steel grove and stones. In this solemn mansion of my extended body and mind, I closed my eyes and heard the unknown bird chime like a bell, piercing through my inner cosmos. Soon a mild rain came as a scattering sand. I allowed the raindrop tap on my head, on my jeans, and my exposed skin, like them on giant Chinese banana leaves. The stealing sound were those made with a wooden knocker in a temple. As the rain grew wilder, I was amused to its impact. I was a statue, and all I saw in itself. Come what may, soak me all over, my feel were ready and breeze. This is a poem I was sitting in a in a wood, and suddenly there's rain was falling, and I don't want to leave. I just sitting there, enjoy the rain, and the rain pat on my jean, on my hand, on my head, everywhere. So I was just sit there like a statue, right? And somewhat like a meditation. The sound of the raindrop, and I had a very precious experience. Okay? And then later on, that rain stopped, and so I wrote it while I was at the moment by using my mobile phone, typing those words, mobile phone. And when I went home, I immediately write it down. Maybe I read it a second time. In this silent valley, the air is still in an overcast sky. The palms towering all around me. Amid wild still grove and the storm. In this solemn mansion of my extended body and mind, I closed my eye. I heard an unknown burst chime like a bell, piercing through my inner cosmos. Soon a mild rain came as a scattering sands. I allowed the raindrop tap on my head, on my jeans, and my exposed skin. Light them on giant Chinese banana leaf. The still sounds were those made with the wooden knocker in the temple. As the rain grew wilder, I was amused with impact. I was a statue, all absorbed in itself. Come what may, soak me all over. My field was ready to freeze. I compared the rain to be the sound made by the knocker in the temple. So the raindrop is very big. Right? So this is the poem. So another one, and this one is come up in a flash of very strong emotion. I think probably about a poet's situation in China. I would like to read it for you and did make some comment on it. I think the language flow is quite natural. It's surreal in this silent spring. The word silent spring, is that's also a title of a book by a woman in America who concerned about the pesticide, kill all kinds of birds, all kinds of insects. Right? You have a silent spring. Maybe remind people of this. It's surreal in this silent spring that I'm still around, still sing to you, as an innocent bird without his peer, breaking the silence of your dawn, in a place from where elves prone to dream have all departed, with torches on their hands, passing through a secret forest, and their missionary is being crumbled. Though my voice may not awaken you from your slumber, and the tear in my face may induce your laughter, but you are having fun like a frog in the warming water soon to boil. I still sing as a bar in Odysseus' house, and warm as a seer once did, whose premonition were never heeded. Though I'm pushed around as innocence among the brood, and my skin is bruised with blood, I've never complained the thorn crown placed on my head intent to mock. I've never taken it as a sign of self-pity, though my face is sometimes grim, my heart jewelry and weak, and my prayers remain unheard. In the deepest and obscurest hall, my heart is bathed in songs, and she cannot help but take wings and fret like an albatross about an isle. Those, in fact, I'm chained down in your place, where the very act of singing is an embarrassment, and where phoenixes should not dance, and the low string seems to be disturbing. They have created a quagmire out of their weakness, and in their madness, they let out a fire to sear the earth, just to disguise their inner barrenness. and timidity. In the shoulder muscle, there are drunkards who fight in praise of matador to get attention. They are shouting in the Louis when my last voice is singing straight to the air. My friend, here. This is the poem about the anguish of a poet in China. Okay, actually, it's a lot of my personal complaint here. The speaker is somewhat like a poet himself, right? And he has completely no understanding. And here in this part, the later part, in the place where elf-prone to dream have all departed with torch on the hand, passing through the secret forest, and a masonry is being crumbled. And this is an image from Tolkien's writing, where you have a fairy, you have those elf, departing from Earth to the west, right? When the Fall Age comes, human being dominated, right? And I use the image there. In the second stanza, I have the audacious howl, the bar singing audacious howl. The audacious howl was in a kind of the being controlled by those shooters, right? And those shooters squandered audacious everything. And the bar was invited to sing song for them. So this is a comparison. And the seer also come from the Odyssey. You have the Troy. Troy is a princess called Cassandra, who is a Ceres, who always warned that Troy would be destroyed, and his premonition was never being heard, never being heeded, right? Although everything she told were true. So the first stanza, and people living in Western civilization, and they are very familiar with this image. The thorn crown was placed on Jesus Christ's head while he was crucified, and this is a very obvious, figurative speech, or maybe the reference, and to give you a general idea of the situation of a poet in China, right? It's a very lonely business, and so I think it's out of my certain kinds of anguish. It's a voice without listener, something like that. So for me, it's quite a. I think it's quite a good one. The language flow is quite natural. And I would like to read it a second time. Would you like to read for me? You can stay. Okay. Yeah, that would be great.
It's surreal in this silent spring. It's surreal in this silent spring that I'm still around, still sing to you, as an innocent bird without his peers, breaking the silence of your dawn, in a place from where elves, prone to dream, have all departed, with torches on their hands, passing through the secret forest, and their machinery is being crumbled. Though my voice may not awaken you from your slumber, and the tears in my face may induce your laughter, while you're having fun like a frog in the warming waters soon to boil, I still sing as a bard in Odyssey's house, and warn as the Ceres once did, whose premonitions were never heeded. Though I'm pushed around as an innocent among the brute, and my skin is bruised with blood, I've never complained the thorn crown placed on my head, intended to mock. I've never taken it as sign of self-pity, though my face is sometimes grim, my heart dreary and weak, and my prayers remain unheard. In the deepest and obscurest hall, my heart is bathed in songs, and she cannot help but take wings and flap like an albatross above a Nile, though in fact I'm chained down in your place, where a very act of singing is an embarrassment, and where phoenixes should not dance, and the rose dream seems to be disturbing. They've created a quagmire out of their weakness, and in their madness, they let out the fire to sear the earth just to disguise their inner barrenness and timidity. In a show of muscle, they are drunkards who fight in place of matadors to get attention. They are shouting in a ruin where my last voice is thinning to the air. My friend, here. Thank you.
Okay, so it's better than my reading. It's terrific. Yeah, we have someone who helped me. That would be great. And this one, and you may know, I think everyone know the William Wordsworth, right? Tinton Abbey. Tinton Abbey is a line written 5 miles from the Tinton Abbey on the second visit to the bank of the Wye. In maybe 1898 by William Wordsworth. Right? It's a very famous song, poem, and I think it's spread his idea of as a nature's lover, worshipper of that. One of the most famous by William Wordsworth. I like this song very much, and I read this poem very early, but I never had the song, the audio recording of the song being read by a native speaker, performed by a native speaker. So when I downloaded this reading, I got very, very excited, and then I bring the recording to the lake and walking by the lake and to listen to the William Wordsworth Tinton Abbey. Right? So I wrote this poem. I love William Wordsworth very much, and I quote his poem in my poetry class. And though this is a kind of communication, seems to be fantastic through the time, transcend space. Let me read this one. I'm listening to the audio reading of the Wordsworth's Tinton Abbey by the lake. I have never thought you'll be here with me when I trek along for eons, endlessly along, often with you in my mind, a whisper in the wind, a sense of divine green. This morning, I heard your voice create a pleasure dome on top of my lake, combined with yours. It seemed you were present, directing my grasses and woods, sing a chorus of hymns. That resonating sound vibrating in the air, roaring through the tree, rippling on the water, and trumpeting amid the hill, has restored my piety in a ruin of broken and dirty heaps, where beasts are crazy for rotten meat. So far away, so separated from me, in the ways of life and time, yet I have traced your footsteps to a place where we all belong. A soul setting somewhere must have its rising elsewhere. I believe part of you is in me, and they are mysterious loops intertwining not only you and me, but all the nature we love and all the humanity we share. And this, I think I captured the mood quite well. That similar kinds of the feeling, very tender feeling towards the nature, and nature is a source of inspiration. Nature is has a healing power. Nature is divine. Nature is, for a poet, is everything. Compared with a human world, right? What man is made of? What man is made of man? Something like that. Also, the line by the William Wordsworth. He was quite complaining about human world, right? While worshiping And let me point out certain phrase that maybe we need certain kinds of the clearing up, right? And I hear that I always sometimes complain, right? I always hide my complaint in certain line of my poem, right? And when I was talking about voice rolling through the tree, rippling on the water, and trumpeting upon a hill, as we saw my piety in a ruin, how broken and dirty heap where beasts are crazy for rotten meat. That is a criticism of current society, right? And we create a culture ruin. Everybody was hunger, competing for those material gain. They forget about everything spiritual. So this is I always hide some kinds of my personal idea about current Chinese situation on my poem, in my poem. And this is a soul setting somewhere must have his rising elsewhere. That's Wordsworth's idea. Wordsworth believed that a person never die. When he died in some place, his soul will arise in some other place. And at the moment of his dying, he may forgot about all knowledge about that life. And then in the later life, he may spend all of his time remembering all kinds of things that he had gone through. He has in mind, right? And this is a typical Wordsworth's idea, and similar to the Buddhist concept of reincarnation, right? We have a Susu said, it's too late to read book in this life. If you don't read a lot in your previous life, you cannot be a great poet or great learner, right? You have to learn. You have to read. You have to know everything already in your past life. So, Papa, again, would you like to do it again? This one is not the.
On listening to audio reading of Wordsworth's Tinner Abbey by the Lake. I've never thought you would be here with me when I trekked alone for ions, endlessly alone, often with you in my mind, a whisper in the wind, a scene of divine grain. This morning, I heard your voice create a pleasure dome on top of my lake, combined with yours. It seemed you were present, directing my grasses and woods, sing a chorus of hymns. That resonating sound, vibrating in the air, rolling through the trees, rippling on the water, and trumpeting amid the hills has restored my piety. In a ruin of broken and dirty heaps, where beasts are crazy for rotten meat. So far away, so separated from me, in a way of life and time, yet I have traced your footsteps to the place where we all belong. A soul setting somewhere must have his rising elsewhere. I believe part of you is in me, and there are mysterious roots intertwining not only you and me, but all the nature we love, all the humanity we share. Thank you.
Perfect. I'm very happy that there is someone who helped me to read the poem. And some more. So it's better read first, right? And then talk about it. Then we read it. And, your name, tell me again. Gao Yiming, right? My friend Gao Yiming will read it again. She is not yours. She is not yours. Though she may plow all the surface of earth with a colossal with a colossal bulldozer to find her diamond like a light bulb. Those you may pick up stars and swing them up a necklace for her. You cannot own her with your absolute power of a tyrant. With the largest denomination of banknotes piled up in many a room of yours, for how you can own her if her whim cannot be contained within galaxy and galaxy of space, and the deepest anguish cannot be eased with the things material and your flattering tongue. If she is a caged bird with all sky in her dream, longing to be amid her peer, if she is a strange whale with the whole ocean singing and crying to amid her, if she is a pool of still water you keep for your service, and yet her origin is the snow on a mountain peak, how can you own and keep her with your petty brain fettered in a muddy pond, a dancer with her feet moving among stars, unless you realize your full potential? You will not have a chance to play with her. Unless you know that you are the whole ocean in a single drop, and that your all encompassing self is overlapping hers, and that you get rid of your piggy idea of the ownership of the monkey, using his urine to mark his domain in the wild, you will not learn how to dance with her. With your footstep and music vibrating here and everywhere, boundless and timeless, where you have all ecstasies but no words. You may have some idea about what this poem is about. I think it's got inspired by, here in China, we have a husband who want to keep their wife, and boyfriend keep their girlfriend. And then, like those club officials, and then they use their ton of money to keep a lot of women, and then try to own a person, right? And then at this point, I think that each individual is a kind of is as large as I think as important as the universe, right? Like a Buddha, right? Everybody is a Buddha. Everybody have a great potential. They cannot be owned. Even a small animal, you should not, keep her or him, right? Because every life is divine, right? So here in China, we have so many people believe in material things, believe in the power of money, power of the maybe the political power, the financial power, all kind of things, and they try to own things. And I wrote this poem that nothing can be owned, right? Maybe that I would like you to go over it. So maybe my friend, how you mean? Read it again. Very good.
She is not yours. She is not yours, though you may plough all the surface of the earth with a colossal bulldozer to find her a diamond like a light bulb. Though you may pick up stars and string them up a necklace for her, you cannot own her with your absolute power of a tyrant. With the largest denominating banknotes piled up in many a room of yours. For how you can know her if her whims cannot be contained with galaxy and galaxy of space, and her deepest anguish cannot be eased with things material, and your flattering tongue, if she is a caged bird with all the sky in her dreams, longing to be amid her peers. If she is a stranded whale with the whole ocean singing and crying to admit her, or if she is a pool of still water you keep for your service, and yet her origin is a snow on the mountain peak, how can you own and keep her with your petty brain fettered in a muddy pond, a dancer with her feet moving among stars? Unless you realize your full potential, you will not have a chance to play with her. Unless you know that you are the whole ocean in a single drop, and that your all-encompassing self is overlapping hers, and that you get rid of your piggy idea of the ownership of a monkey using its urine to mark its domain in the wild. You will not learn how to dance with her, with your footsteps and the music vibrating here and everywhere, boundless and timeless, where you have all ecstasies but no words. Thank you.
Very, very nice. Yeah. I like you enjoy this one. And let's move to a new one. How about you take a look for a few seconds before I read it. So let me begin. There is no other realm. There is no other realm for you to aspire to. You are in, and so am I, in this only dreamy place that is full of hues, songs of the wind, and the bustle of human race. In the right spirit, you are one of its flowers, displaying your natural love, emanating your sweetness, without even you being aware that you are putting up a show in a burgeoning spring. But often you are trapped within yourself and cut off your umbilical cord from the source that gives you life, as an ocean to a drop of dew. Nothing is not other to you now. The sun, the moon, stars, and all things underneath. We once were so mingled that I couldn't even tell your body and mine from mine. When we talk, we use our eyes. When we desire each other, we were in a single emptiness. There was there and then and everywhere. Now, you are not with me, but I still embrace you, trying to melt you down into me. But my embrace is not mine alone, and my love for you is a longing that permeates every atom, and the yearning inside you is a hidden river yearning for the sea. I think this is a poem about that we can only live. We have only this world to enjoy ourselves, to live in here and now. Is our everything, right? And people pursue kinds of the afterlife or the enlightenment or nirvana. And here, I think that we should pursue all those things here now. No, not anything, not anywhere else. So and everyone has a huge potential. You know, when he realizes that when he or she is enlightened, and every human being is the same, right? Then you can communicate with each other, you know, like without any barrier. So I think that if you do not have such a kind of realization, that everything in somewhere is underlying, intertwined, you know, that every life is intertwined to each other, and we are from the same source of life. Then you may feel very lonely, you know, isolated, and then you have all kinds of the suffering, difficulty in life. If you have the realization that other people actually, in their ultimate reality, is the same with you, or even you are the same with the nature, with all kinds of plant, animal, and nature. Then you have a kind of understanding that all life is coming from the same source, and within the same source, everybody is the same. So this is my idea of this song. So let's call you me again.
There is no other realm. There is no other realm for you to aspire to. You're in, and so am I, in this only dreamy place that is full of hues, songs of the wild, and the bustle of human race. In the right spirit, you are one of these flowers, displaying your natural love, emanating your sweetness, without even your being aware that you are putting up a show in a burgeoning spring. But often you are trapped within yourself and cut off your umbilical cord from the source that gave you life as an ocean to a drop of dew. Nothing is not other to you now, the sun, the moon, the stars, and all things underneath. We once were so mingled that I couldn't even tell your body and mind from mine. When we talked, we used our eyes. When we desired each other, we were in a single emptiness that was there and then and everywhere. Now, you're not with me, but I still embrace you, trying to melt you down into me. But my embrace is not mine alone, and my love for you is a longing that permeates every atom, and the yearning inside you is a hidden river yearning for the sea.
再高一点点，有一个，and this one, okay, so I would like you to take a look at it first. Let me simply read it. Right? There's nothing more. There's nothing more I can impart to you than what nature whispers to you. A leaf of grass never knows its humility or greatness. A rose in full blossom never claimed to be a queen of her peer. The sun who gives you life and light never demand you pay it a homage or a bill for energy. The air which keeps you alive never make you prostrate to it. And a volcano or earthquakes or a tsunami never say sorry when it cut you down to the quick. A sun glow, a rainbow, a Grand Canyon, the Ganges, the Yangtze, or the Himalaya never claim its awesome and magnificent. She never claim it's awesome or magnificent. You are them, and they are you. Be silent and just be. No sense of guilt or effectiveness. The source wisdom of all sages. And not very interesting, this one. And it's about nature and human beings different. Nature never, everything in the nature is human, and they never compare with each other. They simply be. They live in a state of the completely communicating, completely absorbing themselves, and then mingling with nature. And the human being, we are thinking animal, right? We have intelligence, we have intellect, we have kinds of the reasoning. So the human being develop in a different way, and then we develop the words that has been a place when they're full of suffering, full of problem, right? Simply because we compare with each other. I would like to read it again, go through it very quickly. And there's nothing more I can impart to you than what nature whispers to you. A leaf of grass never knows its humility or greatness. A rose in her full blossom never claimed to be a queen of her peer. The sun who gave you life and the light never demanded a homage or a bill of energy. The air which keeps you alive never make you prostrate to it. And a volcano or an earthquake or a tsunami never say sorry when it cut you down to the quick. A sangro, a rainbow, the Grand Canyon, the Ganges, the Yangtze or Himalaya never claim its awesome and magnificent. You are them, and they are you. Be silent and just be. No sense of guilt or affectedness, the source of wisdom of all sages. I think this one is not very good. Next one, when the hand of death reach you. And this one is written in a moment when you feel quite down. Everybody have a cycle of mood. Right? Sometimes you feel extremely positive, and sometimes you feel not. And everybody have a down moment. And this poem is written at the moment when I was a bit sad, right? But I try to be positive. When I feel sad and then everything seems not right, I sometimes write out of that moment, right? When I write, I feel very happy, and I try to counter the negative mood by writing. So sometimes I produce poem when I was not very happy, right? This is a poem capture those moments. When the hand of death reaches you, do not feel that your sky is suddenly overcast, that the mountain you climb start to crumble, and that your spirit struggle in the sea of mist. Do not crawl and prostrate to him, and beg for a moment of reprieve. Cut yourself out, let belong rightly to him, and dance and sing in spite of him. Let part inside of you that has wing beyond his reach. How can you expect being accompanied when you are traveling to a place of living and a lush spring amid those who are drawn elsewhere? There may be moments that your head is downcast, that the arrow inside you flesh hurts so much in a battlefield of an overwhelming slaughter, and that your broken leg deep in blood, but you are alive. You cannot be killed. If what inside you is a pool of healing elixir. Elixir is a kind of the healing material of God. Healing kinds of the liquid of the used by God, right? And this poem is there are a lot of image which is very bloody, right? Here, like cutting out the part of you that belong to death, right? And you are in your inner soul actually will never die. All kinds of the religion, all kinds of things believe that your ultimate reality is the same with the whole universe, with the ultimate Tao or ultimate Nirvana or God, right? And it cannot be killed. Just like ocean, you are a drop of water, and a drop of water may disappear, but the content of the water will always be there, right? So this is a poem, and maybe I will read it again. And when the hand of death reaches you, do not feel that your sky is suddenly overcast, that the mountain you climb start to crumble, and that your spirit struggle in a sea of mist. Do not quarrel and prostrate to him, and beg for a moment of reprieve. Cut yourself off what belongs rightly to him, and dance and sing in spite of him. Let part inside of you that has wing beyond his reach. How can you expect being accompanied when you are traveling to a place of living and a lush spring, amid those who are drawn elsewhere. There may be a moment that your head is downcast, that the arrow inside your flesh hurts so much in the battlefield of an overwhelming slaughter, and that your broken leg dig deep in blood, but you are alive. You cannot be killed. If what inside you is a pool of healing elixir. Him is a, here if I refer to death, right? Everything belongs to death, then your body, but your soul never pure. Stuff like that. And next, when you gaze in silence upon me, and I would like this poem be read again by. So let me do it first. When you gaze in silence upon me, I was being transformed in your way. My body atom no longer held to each other, a crumbling mud effigy without its mystic sustaining root. I was scattered into the light and air, and wherever they were, I was. With my wing overlapping yours, I permeate all constellations, all at once, eons of life's years beyond. With you, I was so huge and rich that all you had was mine, and you opened your heart as my parade ground, which was a net that held all fish inside. Acting upon my whim, you will bring me to see what inside a flower or a drop of water. A universe no less dramatic than a midnight sky teeming with twinkling eyes. You are a mirror, and I'm a reflection. Let me forget not that you gaze upon me. It's not an arrow opening to your orchards, but an invitation to an eternal dance and feast within. Here, and when you gaze inside upon me, I think it must be someone who has a superpower, who is a force of the force about, and enlightening force, and make you become completely different when you gaze upon me. And then me the speaker of the poem, right, is something like someone who being enlightened, and need to be helped, and then has after these kinds of communication with higher you, he suddenly realized his great potential, and the speaker's great potential, right? And most of my this year's writing have something to do with religious message, enlightenment, right? And I think some of my poems are a bit boring, right? But but I think in this way this year I'm reading some book which can give me some inspiration, write in this way. So let me write.
When you gaze in silence upon me. When you gazed in silence upon me, I was being transformed in your ray. My body's atoms no longer held to each other, a crumbling mud effigy without its mystic sustaining root. I was scattered into the light and air, and wherever they were, I was. With my wings overlapping yours, I permeated all constellations all at once, eons of light years beyond. With you, I was so huge and rich that all you had was mine, and you opened your heart as my playground, which was a net that held all fishes inside. Acting upon my whim, you would bring me to see what inside a flower or a drop of water, a universe no less dramatic than midnight sky teeming with blinking eyes. You are the mirror, and I'm a reflection. Let me forget not that your gaze upon me is not a narrow opening to your orchard, but an invitation to an internal dance and feast within.
And how many poems we have? And I think that we will skip some one or two, right? Already more than 1 hour, okay? And probably I would like to read two more. Two more, right? I would like two more. I think I prepared a lot. I like to read the last two poems, and I don't want to drag on too long. This one, in the Buddhism practice or in other kinds of the spiritual tradition, people trying to concentrate or meditate through watching their breath, breathing, right? Breath, breathing out or in, and then in this way they calm down. The kinds of meditation. And I think that breath is so important, right? When we were born, the doctor may cut up the umbilical cord, and since then we are disconnected with our mother, and then we breathe in air, and then we eat things from the nature, and we keep alive. So it's a way of, has a certain connection with the world, with the physical world. The home, we still have certain connection. And then the air is so important. Without air, we will die in a few minutes, right? And most people do not aware of the importance of the air, And through air, we are all connected with the universe, and everybody breathes air. And I think that we don't have those kinds of the gratitude. We are not grateful to those things that is so important to us. And people usually forget about their breathing, right? Their breathing. And actually, if you are aware of breathing, your mind will calm down. You get inspired. You live at present completely, right? The time will become eternal. If you feel very sad, how about you counting your breath, right? And then concentrate on your breathing. Okay, this poem is about that. It's very, 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 very Buddhist, very, very Buddhist, right? And I hope you can understand it. And let me read it. Be mindful of your breath whenever you can. Be mindful of your breath whenever you can. On a solitary walk, on a moment of despair, when you feel that your life is an ebbing tide, on a moment of utter isolation and helplessness, when you seem to be deserted in the terrain, where sleepwalks the living dead of your kinsman, in the gibberish tongue, or in a breast move, when you see your beloved ones sleep with a smile. Be mindful wherever you can, and that you are breathing with every living organism, pulsing just like you. That together you are a universal pool of lives. You are not alone. When all weeds, wildflowers, worm under the earth, fowl in the air are breathing from the same source, provided unasked. Without air in your lungs, just for a few seconds, you will find yourself gasping for it. Then, why you are so ungrateful as to replace it in your mind with banknotes, with your preoccupations for fame, power, and sex, without even a slightest trait of it. Your body is made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And those building blocks of your edifice are channeled to you without any price, or an air of presumption. Since you were born, your umbilical cord to your new sacred mother has been your breast. Be mindful of your breast whenever you can. And you will be on the right path to a place where we all dance. You and I, and she, and he, and it. Your concentration on your inhaling and exhaling in solitude is a gathering praise of billion and billion like you in a silent ecstasy. Like this one.
Be mindful of your breath whenever you can. Be mindful of your breath whenever you can. On a solitary walk, on a moment of despair, when you feel that your life is an ebbing tide, on a moment of utter isolation and helplessness, when you seem to be deserted in a terrain where sleepwalks the living dead of your kinsmen in a gibberish town or in a blast mud, when you see your beloved one sleep with a smile. Be mindful wherever you can that you are breathing with every living organism pausing just like you, that together you are universal pool of lives. You are not alone when all weeds, wildflowers, worms under the earth, fowls in the air are breathing from the same source provided and asked. Without the air in your lungs just for a few seconds, you find yourself gasping for it. Then why are you so ungrateful as to replace it in your mind with banknotes, with your preoccupations for fame, power, and sex, without even a slightest trace of it? Your body is made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen, and those building blocks of your edifice are channeled to you without any price or any air of presumption. Since you were born, your umbilical cord to you, to your new sacred mother, has been your breath. Be mindful of your breath whenever, wherever you can, and you will be on the right path to a place where we all dance, you and I, and she, and he, and it. Your concentration on your inhaling and exhaling in solitude is a gathering place of billions and billions like you in a silent ecstasy. Thank you.
So, this one is very religious and very philosophical, right? And I think that I departed from certain kinds of the poets writing advice. Poet should not mean, a poem should not mean, but be, right? I think that this year, my poem is turning into a direction that is slightly different from what I used to write, right? Maybe I need to adjust my writing style a little bit. And this is the final one in this afternoon, and it's I quite like this one, right? So let me read it, and we'll end our readings after this one. Do not condition me. Do not condition me to merely a staff mascot that put up a puppet show for its maker and schemer. I was not born in a carved block of land, a piece of the jigsaw with clear demarcations. I was not born into any dogmas that intend to herd me in one direction, to one rugged and barren hill to graze. I'm a tiny manifestation of the misty mother, and I have all her secret inside of me. And birds on their full swing, flower revealing all their aching love, know full well that I'm their brother and sister. And river causing the way on the surface of all quarters of the earth are causing in my wing eon on end. And I'm older and higher than the highest peak, which you call Mount Everest, and the star, with the lights taking billions of years to reach my eyes, know full well that I am not that stranger. And you are always within my ken, whether you are in act of loving, caring, or lying, stealing, killing, in isolation. And I know you are exactly the same with me, in every atom and understanding. A tiny manifestation as humble as me, with the same jewel within, often smeared in obscurity. I think this jewel seem to be like I capitalize the word Jewel, right? Seem to be like a Buddha nature in everybody, right? So if you realize your potential, if everyone realize potential, everyone realize the Buddha nature, what underlines everybody is exactly the same, right? And then these kinds of the connection with the universe, and you are as big as the universe. You are like something like Lumi said, a full ocean in one drop, right? You are not a drop in an ocean. You are a full ocean, one drop. You have all potential, all kinds of the. Your life is intertwined with everything else. Suddenly you can understand everybody, right? Everything in nature, everything in the world. So this poem is about kinds of the certain kinds of realization. I and you actually is the same. So yes, okay.
Do not condition me. Do not condition me to merely a stuffed mascot that puts up a puppet show for its maker and schemer. I was not born in a carved block of land, a piece of jigsaw with clear demarcations. I was not born into any dogmas that intends to herd me in one direction to one rugged and barren hill to graze. I am a tiny manifestation of the misty mother, and I have all her secret inside of me, and birds on their full wings, flowers revealing all their aching love, know full well that I am their brother and sister. And rivers coursing their ways on the surface of all quarters of the earth are coursing in my veins eons on end. And I am older and higher than the highest peak which you call Mount Everest, and the stars with their light taking billions of years to reach my eyes know full well that I am not their stranger. And you are always within my ken, whether you are in acts of loving, caring, or lying, stealing, and killing in isolation. And I know you're exactly the same with me in every atom and understanding, a tiny manifestation as humble as me, with the same jewel within often smeared in obscurity. Thank you.
I think that Miss Goimi interpret these poems very well, and exactly what I mean through her reading, right? And this one I quite like it. Actually, I put this poem on the handout today. We'll conclude this reading of my latest poem. Once again, let me remind you, my audience here in China and abroad. I'm not a native English speaker. I learned everything here in China, and I almost have no experience abroad. Only except 40 days in London. Right? And things I have been doing is very, very difficult. And I really hope that I have certain kinds of communication with the English-speaking country from there. Right? If you are interested in my writing, And if you see any kinds of things that I didn't make it right, and you want to comment on my poem, you can write to me via my email, or if you have WeChat, you can add my WeChat, we become friends, right? So let's thank you for listening to my program. Thank you.